CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the local efforts supporting people impacted by Hurricane Melissa. Members of London's Jamaican community are collecting necessary supplies, and as Lauren Stallone reports, they're already running out of places to store it all.
London's Jamaican community is coming together to provide relief in the wake of Hurricane Melissa.
People are scared. People are terrified because like many of us, we're still struggling to get in touch with parents and loved ones.
The Category 5 storm caused widespread destruction across the island. Omar Smith, president of the Jamaicans in London Association, says he knew he had to find a way to help.
One of the first things our team did here in London was to connect with the Jamaican Consul General in Toronto.
Smith says the hurricane has left about 70% of the island without power and thousands in need of essentials.
We're looking for food, lots of food. So we're looking for non-perishables. We're looking for beans. We're looking for rice. We're being told to prioritize hygiene items like female hygiene products.
He says they have received hundreds of donations and are now running out of storage space.
As you see, my garage is overflowing. My cars are overflowing.
Felicia Graham, an exchange student from Jamaica, says the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa is heartbreaking, but she is encouraged by how the community has come together.
It's lovely to see all the aid we've been getting, all the aid being afforded by other countries and organizations in the Jamaican diaspora.
Graham says it is part of her civic duty to give back to communities in need.
Even if you don't physically live in Jamaica, you're still a Jamaican.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
A groundbreaking ceremony today on what local officials are calling the largest residential development in London's history. It's called Legacy Village, touted as a city within the city on the former psychiatric hospital grounds. With more on the project's vision and timeline, here's Brian Bicknell.
Digging into London's past and giving way to its future. Civic leaders and representatives from Old Oak Properties broke ground on the largest residential development in London's history.
This is really a transformation of the East End in a way that I don't think we've seen in generations.
Located near the southwest corner of Highbury and Oxford, Legacy Village will consist of roughly 8,000 residential units with the potential for 15,000 residents.
We've got 47,000 units we've committed to at the provincial level. If we're going to be part of the solution provincially and federally, projects like this are going to get us there.
Once home to the London Psychiatric Hospital, developer Old Oak purchased the 57-hectare property in 2019. It will be built out in phases over the next several decades.
It was a underutilized land that was owned by the province. We saw it as this amazing opportunity to do something impactful in London and create really a city within a city.
The property borders 3 city wards and is situated along the rapid transit East London link. The development will include 10 towers and mixed-use commercial space.
Blocks are set aside for new elementary school. Parkland blocks are set aside. Community blocks, including integrating some of the heritage buildings into new commercial and community use spaces. That's here. So we're thinking ahead in terms of making sure that the services people need, the ability to go to school, the ability to play, it's not just live. It's work, live, and play in this area.
Now, given the sheer size and scope of this community within the city, it will be some time before we actually see anyone living here in Legacy Village. The first project is a 32-story high-rise with 400 units, expected to be complete in about 4 years. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Demolition is underway on a Richmond Row building dating back more than 7 decades. The former St. Peter's Catholic Elementary School is being torn down. The Catholic Diocese of London acquired the building 25 years ago, most recently using it as office space for the St. Peter's Basilica Parish. Diocese officials say the decision to tear it down was made 3 years ago, but they haven't determined what to do with the property once the demo is complete.
Certainly a valuable piece of property. We recognize that. So anything that we do with it, be it sale, development, whatever happens, will be to the benefit of the whole diocese as well. We're a large diocese.
The entire demolition process is expected to take between 4 and 6 weeks. A new report at London City Hall has revealed more than $1.3 million spent on developing computer software that was supposed to track social housing, but it's never being used. And as Daryl Newcomb reports, it doesn't look like it ever will be.
There are decisions that have to be made about when it's appropriate to cut bait.
In 2023, council learned city staff had been collaborating for more than a decade with other municipalities, eventually hiring a consultant to develop software to track social housing, software which had not been used by London.
Do we keep pouring money into a system which is not live? I do think we're going to get to a point to this where if it does become live, it could very well be obsolete.
2 years later, a report reveals that London's share of the costs are even higher than initially thought for software staff now admit they'll never use. It reads, quote, London's all-in cost from project inception through to software development completion is approximately $1.3 million. And, quote, the city will not implement the software or enter into any further agreements. Deputy Mayor Sean Lewis says he isn't surprised software developed over a decade isn't all that feasible now.
It's a good cautionary tale moving forward. I'm a little frustrated that there was really nothing that could be salvaged out of it.
Back in November of 2023, when London's expenditures were estimated at $1 million, City Council directed staff to close out all financial obligations to the initiative. However, the new report states that fully withdrawing from the Housing Collaboration Initiative won't be completed until this coming April, 2.5 years after Council's direction.
I wish it had been a little sooner, but I understand why it's taken staff this long. Because in the big picture, it wasn't costing us anything additional, and this wasn't the highest priority item to report back with us on because council itself has directed some higher priority asks.
The initial purpose of the software was to streamline reporting to the provincial government about rent geared to income housing and the local wait list. However, changes to provincial legislation and enhancements to the housing department's existing computer platform has proven sufficient.
What I have seen is more attention to flexibility in the software we are using, more training in the software that we are using, and as a result, some better results from that investment.
A council committee will consider the staff report on November 10th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
The man behind Creeper Hunter TV remains in custody after a brief court appearance this morning. 45-year-old Jason Nasser faces 2 new harassment charges and 1 count of breaching a court order. Nasser told the court today he would be moving forward without a lawyer and would represent himself for these new charges. He was previously convicted of distributing child pornography and extortion. London police laid these latest charges, accusing Nasser of attending a screening of a documentary about himself last week, which was also attended by his victims' families. Huron OPP say they're looking for a man accused of sexual assault. According to police, the assault happened Sunday in Goderich. They've released these photos of a suspect vehicle, an older black GMC 1500 truck. Police say the suspect is a man in his 60s, about 5'4", clean-shaven with a medium build, wearing a jean jacket, jeans, and a hat. Residents in Sarnia say they heard something that sounded like an explosion early this morning before a house fire broke out. With more on the ensuing emergency response, here's Sean Irvin.
A firefighter douses a 2-story home on Brock Street, just a short walk from Sarnia's downtown core. Crews responded here around 2:30 Wednesday. Some neighbors, including this man, reported hearing some sort of blast just prior to their arrival.
I thought maybe the house next door exploded.
As Sarnia firefighters pulled up, they found the residence ablaze.
Heavy flames coming from both levels of the home. We started attacking the fire and doing our search and rescue. Like I said, no one was in the home, so we just proceeded to extinguish the fire.
At least one firefighter went door to door asking everyone to close their windows.
My 3-year-old had woken up and we heard some pounding at the door, and as soon as I opened the door, there's just smoke everywhere, and I didn't know what was going on.
Firefighters quickly determined the home was empty. Residents said the last tenants moved out 2 months ago. That leaves local crews and an investigator with the fire marshal's office to piece together the cause.
Eyewitnesses heard a possible explosion, so that we're looking into that, whether that was the primary cause or that was secondary because of the fire. That's all being investigated right now.
No firefighters were injured as the blaze was extinguished, but in excess of 20 were on scene during the fight. The stability of the structure remains a concern. Damage is significant.
So it's going to be a total loss, so in the hundreds of thousands to rebuild the whole structure.
In Sarnia, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
With more than 24 hours now to digest the federal budget, experts are now weighing in on what it means for Canadians, particularly when it comes to affordability. Abigail Beeman reports.
At an Ottawa light rail yard the morning after the budget, the Prime Minister highlighted its $51 billion Build Communities Strong local infrastructure fund.
Canada's strength wasn't built in the halls of Parliament. It was built in our communities.
An attempt to make a high-level budget he calls generational, relevant for average Canadians. As many economists say, while positive, there were not many takeaways to impact daily life.
The government is moving in the right direction, but seem hesitant to go all in on this. When we look at the amount of support that was provided to the economy is less than we were expecting. We looked at the depth of the cuts. It was less than we were expecting.
Randall Bartlett points to previously announced tax cuts and a new promise to lower bank fees as impactful, but a budget with a tricky big picture narrative.
The tough thing that I think we'll see is that a lot of this is going to help kind of prevent Canada from being in a worse situation because of the trade war with the U.S.
They're worried about how they're going to pay for their grocery bills. They're worried about how they're going to afford tuition. They're worried if they don't have a doctor. And this budget doesn't do anything for them.
The big bet that Mark Carney's making in this budget is on the patience of Canadians.
Scott Reid calls it a 30,000-foot budget, with reorienting our economy and restructuring business investment taking as long as a decade to have tangible impacts.
They may be absolutely necessary, but they are not urgent. And Canadians tend to think, worry, and vote on the basis of urgency.
Reid says the government needs to focus now on showing Canadians how the budget could help them on an ongoing basis, not just on Budget Day. The government tells CTV News today's train depot announcement was just the start of a cross-country tour to promote the budget. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Meanwhile, Ontario's government will unveil its fall economic statement tomorrow. With more on what to expect there, here's Siobhan Morris.
Making final adjustments on his own fiscal update, Ontario's finance minister underwhelmed by the federal budget.
Less transformational, it's more tinkering. It lacks some ambition.
Peter Bethlen-Falvey is glad to see a tax cut for first-time buyers on new homes up to $1 million that Ontario will match. But he wanted a commitment to Ontario's priorities.
Large-scale nuclear, the Ring of Fire, the 401 tunneling. These things are really important to creating jobs, getting shovels in the ground.
The attachment to a tunnel for cars and transit under the 401 baffles opposition leaders.
What worries me is this government could be pouring more money into a fiscally stupid project instead of actually investing in building homes that people can afford.
Marit Stiles wants less preoccupation with the pie-in-the-sky tunnel and more answers to the question,
what is your plan to create jobs now, to save the jobs that people are losing in forestry, in auto?
With youth unemployment especially high.
We want to see programs that will actually help young people get their first job and actually help Ontario businesses as well.
Colleges and universities will have to deal with a dramatic cut to the number of student visas in the federal budget.
It's probably the right sizing that had to be done.
Post-secondary institutions had leaned on the higher fees international students pay to balance their books. Schools have been pleading with the government for more cash and to lift a tuition freeze.
We'll continue being there for the sector, and this is why we are doing a funding formula review.
Bethlen-Falvey not tipping his hand about whether more help is coming.
Well, one more sleep.
The finance minister signaled earlier this week he still intends to balance the budget by 2027-28. The province finished last fiscal year $1 billion in the hole, far better than expected, but that was before the weight of tariffs really set in. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The London Knights were on the road earlier tonight in Guelph.
Storm working offensively here, trying to get a 2-goal lead back. Paquette stepping into the middle. Paquette scores! Good luck. Chuck rips one. It's 4
Despite sitting in the bottom half of the OHL standings, the Storm took it to London tonight. Guelph never trailed at all, pulling away late with a couple empty netters as well. Final score, Guelph 6, London 4. This was the last of 5 straight road games for the Knights. They're back home Friday night against Kingston. Later on CTV News, adding our voice to Eurovision. Could Canada get a spot in the renowned International Song Contest? Canada's main stock index was boosted by strength in the basic materials sector. The TSX gained 326 points. In New York, the Dow added 226, the Nasdaq up 151. Canadian dollar lost 0.15 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $32 an ounce. Oil lost 96 cents a barrel. Well, on top of tabling his first federal budget yesterday, Prime Minister Mark Carney has managed to increase his party's seat share in Parliament. A former Conservative MP has crossed the floor, joining the Liberals, bringing them a little bit closer to majority government territory. With more on the defection, here's Mike Lecouture.
A clearly content Chris D'Entremont welcomed by a lively Liberal caucus. The Nova Scotia MP says his decision to cross over came down to serving his constituents and issues with Pierre Poilievre.
Over the last number of months, I wasn't feeling that I was aligned with the ideals of what the leader of the opposition had been talking about.
I'm honored.
The newest Liberal accompanied the Prime Minister to his post-budget press conference, where Mark Carney had this message for all parliamentarians.
Wherever they're sitting in the House, this is a time where we need to act as a country, be as unified as possible.
D'Entremont's former caucus colleagues questioned his move, given his record.
6 months ago, he ran on an affordability agenda. He ran to lower deficits. He ran on a stronger economy, a pro-growth agenda, and he's turned his back on that.
But the former Conservative says others in that caucus are also mulling over a move.
I would suggest that there probably are those that are in the same boat, but I will let them tell their stories if that time comes.
Attempting to quell recent rumors that she is crossing the floor, Conservative Dominique Vienne released a video reaffirming her commitment to the party. But if others do go, some pollsters predict problems for Pierre Poilievre.
It is a rare thing for a member of parliament to cross the floor, especially one in an environment as polarized as Canada is today. And I think that suggests it would be a signal that Mr. Poilievre has a real challenge in keeping the party together.
The Liberals wouldn't say if they're actively recruiting other MPs to join the government caucus, but when asked about it, Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand said, the more the merrier. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening, I'm Rita Ismail. As we head into the night, a low-pressure system is on its way out. The winds starting to east, but they're shifting. They'll be out of the northwest overnight tonight into tomorrow, and that means cooler temperatures in store for your Thursday morning. There's that rainfall exiting southwestern Ontario, and behind it, a cooler air mass settling in for Thursday. Won't be as mild as today, but it will be drier than today. The chance for rain, the probability on the lower end for your Thursday, but Friday, another system will swing through. That one will pack rain with the chance for some mixed precipitation as well. The first snowflakes likely just days away. I'll have the full forecast coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Rita Ismail's with me tonight covering the forecast for us. And Julie and I were talking about this yesterday, how there's been a shift in what we're talking about because we're starting to use the word snow in these forecasts now.
I know, and I didn't want to use it this early in November, right? But it looks like we're going to be getting snow in the near future, Carlyle. Today, though, gray, overcast conditions. It was absolutely miserable out there. Made you want to just get under the covers and go to sleep. Although our daytime high 12 degrees, well above what's normal this time of year, that will be the warmest we'll get in the next 7 days. Overnight low at 7, quite mild as well. The record, though, was back in 1978 when we hit 19 degrees. Record low minus 11, 1950. 51. As we head into the night, you can see bulk of that system, that low pressure system that moved in earlier today, is starting to move out. Still a bit of cloud cover, some spotty rainfall as well. We had some embedded thunderstorm activity throughout Grey and Bruce County, but for the rest of us, it was mostly just overcast, some light on and off showers throughout the day. The story really with this system is the wind gust, that special weather statement issued by Environment Canada in the afternoon today, and it will stick until about midnight tonight. Once those winds start to ease, they will shift and usher in a cooler air mass in behind the low pressure system. Here's how the next 24 to 48 play out. So we'll wake up on Thursday morning. Depending on where you are, you might be under sunshine. For us here in London, overcast, cloudy conditions, and then some possible rain showers as well. But for the most part tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud for us here, and then further south throughout Windsor and in St. Thomas, you'll be under sunny skies in the afternoon. The chance for rain, probability higher further to the north. Heading into Friday, overnight you could see cloud cover increases in advance of the next weather maker. This one will pack more widespread rainfall. You could see it moving through early Friday morning, and there are embedded thunderstorms with that system as well. So definitely November rain for Friday throughout the day into the evening. Clouds lingering right up until supper on Friday. Air mass in behind that system will also be cool, and there is a chance that will impact our forecast for the weekend. Tomorrow, though, again, waking up 3 degrees, climbing to a high of 8. The winds will shift. They'll be out of the west and then northwest into the afternoon. So definitely breezy and cooler conditions for your Thursday. Although the bulk of tomorrow should be dry, most of the rainfall will move out early in the morning, and then the rain returns for your Friday. That, again, will be more widespread. The daytime high on Friday, 11 degrees, but to get there, we'll drop down to the freezing mark early Friday morning. Once that system moves out, we're under cloud cover on Saturday, and then we are expecting mixed precipitation for Sunday. That's because our overnight temperature drops Saturday into Sunday morning, and as we flirt with that freezing mark, we could see some light flurries, mixed precipitation in store as well for Monday. And then Tuesday, Remembrance Day, you will definitely need to dress appropriately if you are spending time outdoors on Remembrance Day for any ceremonies. We are anticipating some of the coldest air mass of the season, and the chance for, you guessed it, mixed precipitation, some flurries and wet snow possible Tuesday, and then rainfall again for your Wednesday. So the next 7 appear to be wet and unstable, really. Lots happening in this forecast. Thursday, Midwestern Ontario, again, mostly cloudy, showers probability for you a little bit higher throughout the morning into the afternoon. Flurries possible Friday. With that system moving in on Friday, you could see a mixed bag of weather. We're talking rain, mixed freezing rain, and then the flurries as well as we transition from the freezing mark early in the morning to 11 degrees. A wet day for sure. Saturday, mostly cloudy, 6 degrees, and then a cold one in store for Sunday, struggling with our daytime high at only 2 degrees. Again, 1 to 3 centimeters of snowfall, and various models are all aligning, which means we are going to see some of that white stuff heading into next week, especially throughout Midwestern Ontario. Carlyle.
Rita, thanks very much. Shock on a southwestern Ontario farm recently when a cow gave birth to 4 calves. As Robert Lothian reports, they're all healthy, but it's still something their owner has trouble believing.
In a matter of hours, the owners of a Kingsville hobby farm watched as their herd of cows more than doubled.
I knew she was due any time, and I seen something was going on there, so I went and looked, and yeah, she had one.
As each hour passed, Abram Nelson returned to his pasture, finding a second calf and then a third, updating his children with each development when he learned his land was the site of something remarkable.
So I was going to confess to the children because, you know, I lied to them, and I told them there was actually 3. Half an hour later, there was 4.
Beef cow Millie giving birth to a rare 4 calves. Each one came out happy, healthy and have already received names.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
In 20 years on this farm, each birth has only resulted in one calf. The odds of quadruplet calves is a rarity in its own, but the odds for all to be born healthy and alive, Nelson says, is about 1 in 11.2 million.
Even in my own home with my children and all these siblings with their children, everybody was just more than excited to hear that there's 4 babies on this farm.
I hear about a triplet, but you usually want passes, and not these. These are four little guys and very healthy.
They stress the entire process was natural, and most importantly, each cow is healthy.
They were all feeding by mommy today. That was I was happy about that, and they're doing well.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
Finally tonight, a note in the federal budget fueling speculation about Canadian participation in a decidedly European tradition. With more on potentially sending a Canadian representative to Eurovision, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
A show of fireworks filled with glitter and at times self-parody. The Eurovision Song Contest has also long been known as a vehicle for nation branding and cultural diplomacy.
It really has been a mirror of the political and social change in Europe, and that's why people love to watch it as well.
The contest was first held in 1956. Switzerland won then. It's now watched by hundreds of millions of viewers. And some say it's no wonder that at this moment, Canada wants in hopes of furthering ties with Europe.
The core countries of Eurovision are EU members with which Canada shares democratic values.
And despite its name, broadcasters from non-European countries too, including Australia, have joined the chorus of participants. And while Canada has never joined in, some Canadians have. In 1988, Switzerland famously borrowed our Céline Dion. She won. Eurovision's inclusion in this country's budget, with details and figures yet to be revealed, hit a sour note for some. A Conservative MP took to X, saying, "Can't afford groceries? Don't worry, the Liberal budget is exploring participation by CBC in Eurovision."
I think it'd be great. I don't know if it's like Eurovision is... Yeah, why not? Why not, right?
On Montreal streets, there's some applause for the bid, including from these American tourists.
Canada, 100%. We have American Idol. It's kind of bad, but we're kind of bad, so it works. Like it fits what we're doing down there. So yeah, we don't deserve Eurovision.
Canada definitely, yes, should be involved. Yeah.
And so it seems there's still quite a bit of exploring to do before Canada is in the spotlight at Eurovision. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.